Well, as at the time of speaking, my last visit to this hotel, which is the Devin Hotel, here I am. It's for some reason got mirrors so you can watch yourself while you are eating, as the song goes. So this is Bratislava, where the living is very nice, I have to say. I can tell you a little bit about how I got here. I was expected to take the train down, like last time, but the train was full, so I had to take a coach. I didn't record anything there. I just felt completely rotten. It was very cramped, and I spent a long time trying to super, thank you very much. Trying to basically, I got very, very much in a rush for it in the end, because I had to do things up till the last minute. And I didn't know where the bus station was really. I'd never been there before, so I kind of ended up in a bit of a what they commonly call a muck sweat. By the time I got onto the bus, I think the temperature outside was 32 degrees, and I'd been kind of nearly running to get onto the bus for a good 15 minutes. And I can tell you that I didn't feel very comfortable for the first hour of the 4.5-hour journey. In fact, I didn't feel comfortable at all. But I managed to get to sleep listening to a podcast of one of Tommy Boyd's shows from a couple of years back. And then I felt better when I woke up, and I started trying to do the gold list. Not this one, that's my Japanese one. I was doing my Czech one. And I have to say it didn't do too well on a. I can do them on the train, but I don't seem to be able to do them properly on the coach. It's just too joggety. So I really got 3 pages of it there, 75 words, which are really not nicely written out at all, which is rather disappointing. It kind of spoils the whole thing, but never mind. I know what conditions I had to try and do it in, so and it took me longer than usual because I had to take extra care, but maybe, I don't know whether that will have any effect on the learning or not. I don't think so. But in any event, I finally got here. When I arrived at the bus station at 10:15 in the night, there's nothing around. There's just one kebab store open, no bank machine to get euros out, and just a bunch of sorry taxis and a kebab place, which I walked up to it and said, well, have you got anything? Well, I've just got kebabs, I've got no hamburgers, no anything else. And they didn't have them in platzkas, they only had them in these horrible big mouldy looking buns. And I said, oh no thanks. But when I got here to Devin, I discovered that they've given me a lovely upgrade card, and they'd upgraded me. Tomasz Ondryczka, the head of this hotel, was. I made last time I was here, I had some. Well, it wasn't that I made a complaint. It's just that he asked afterwards. I got the usual email saying how was it, and I just pointed out 1 or 2 things which I hadn't enjoyed so much last time. And he says, all right, okay, I'll put all that right then. And he really did, and he's also given me an upgrade this time, and I'll show you the room later. So really, I've gone from this horrible. Actually, I mustn't say the bus was horrible, because it was very. I've never been in such a modern bus, but it's just overcrowded. That's all, and you just didn't feel free in it. And it's as comfortable as I suppose as a bus ride's ever going to get, but then they're not very good in the first place. And so I've gone from those conditions, and the conditions, like mouldy old taxi, overpriced, picking up a foreigner from the bus station, taken to a good hotel, and you can imagine, well, at least I got the price agreed ahead of time, but it was about double what I pay in Warsaw. And finally I get here, and I'll show you the room shortly. It's absolutely lovely, the room that I've been given this time, and the food here is going to be fantastic as well. It's in the restaurant of Hotel Devin, French restaurant. That's my aperitif, which is a plum thingy, and I'll have to see what happens next. And the food will be along in a minute, and then I'll film it. So this is the satay chicken salad. That's a piece of bread from this lovely bread basket here that they've given me. I've also got these bits of pastry with some butter. That kicks it off nicely. I've just been doing some practice with suki and hoshi phrases in there. Well, I'm not only looking at my gold list, I've also brought with me a pull-out from some fairly juvenile sports magazine, but it was the only one that I could find in the shops with all the details that I wanted, because Poland didn't make it. There's not much interest in Poland anymore in the World Cup, which I think is a bit of a pity, really, that they only really take a great deal of interest in things when they're playing and kind of play it down if they're not. Anyway, England's here with the USA, Algeria and Slovenia in Group 3, and they kick off in 2 days' time at 20:30 European time. So obviously the whole thing kicks off with Group A tomorrow, and Group B and C have matches the day after. Well, I don't have any particular favourite in Group A, which is obviously the home team, Mexico, Uruguay and France. I don't know, I mean, always, out of those countries, I've made more money out of the French than out of anybody else, and they've had more clients from France than anywhere else, so they deserve my support, although it's difficult for an Englishman to support the French team. But while they're in Group A and we're in Group C, I'll support them through Group A. How about that? For Group B, well, the South Korea's in there, which I feel a lot of sympathy for, because they've got to put up with North Korea. Argentina, I don't think any Englishman would ever support Argentina. Greece, I've had enough of bailing out, so I'm going to support South Korea for Group B. I think it may be a hopeless case, of course, against Argentina, but I'll support them anyway. So my support's with South Korea on that. Obviously, with England in Group C, I think I'll support Germany in Group D for reasons given in Group A. Japan, because I'm learning Japan. I don't know. Holland, I feel a lot of affinity for the Dutch, but and the Danes for that matter. I learned their language, but I'm interested in Japan, so I'd like to see them go forward. Here you've got Slovakia, Group F, Slovakia. Oh, sorry. Ja mówię o Słowacji. Je dobrze, że Słowacja jest w mistrzostwie, prawda?
To je ano.
Okay. Dziękuję. This is the Slovakian speciality that I've got, which is some kind of, it's difficult to say what's in there, but I think we've got sheep's cheese, bacon, and some form of dumplings with this nice dollop of cream and a shamrock in the middle. So yeah, it looks very nice. I can't remember the name of it though. Halupkis or something? Haluzi? Oh dear. I just can't remember the name of it. It's something with H. I've had it in Prague as well, but I was told it was a Slovak dish, so now I'm having it in Slovakia. Anyway, just before I get going on it, just to finish what I was saying about the World Cup, giving you my, they're not tips, because I don't think these will necessarily win, it's just what I would like to win. I always feel the Italians are a nice team to support, but I'm going to support Slovakia there, because I'm in Slovakia, and I come to Slovakia from time to time. The Czech Republic's not in it. So I'll support Slovakia for Group F. For Group G, we've got North Korea. I just don't understand North Korea being able to represent itself in any company, in any international arrangement. But difficult. I don't know. It says Brazil, Portugal, WKS, which I don't know what that is, and Korea North. I don't know. I don't have any big opinions on it. Maybe I'll support Portugal for that one. Don't even know where WKS is, to be honest with you. And then the final one. You've got Chile, Honduras, Switzerland and Spain. I think I'll go ahead and support Spain. I usually get on with the Spanish quite well. I find Switzerland, uninspiring, deeply uninspiring place despite all of its beauty. So, although I mean, I know some nice people from Switzerland, but I kind of like Spain better, so I think I'll support Spain for that one. So there we are. That's my support list for the 8 groups kicking off tomorrow. Now I'm going to give my attention to this. So here's the tablecloth at the end of the meal with all the food having been dealt with. I'm quite on the hot side, I'll have to say. So that feel replete, that's for sure. I think I may have overeaten slightly. What is it? It's the other bad thing that happened today. My watch stopped at 20 past 5, and that was the other reason why I had to suddenly run for the bus, because I only realised at 22:06 that it wasn't still 20 past 5. It took me 20 minutes after the watch stopped, and it stopped at that really critical juncture when I really needed to have control of the times, of the times in which your watch can stop. I don't know, probably the middle of an exam where you need to portion out your time very carefully. That would be a bad time, but of course you've usually got a clock at the front of the exam hall. So I think that of all the times for a watch to just stop working, that wasn't the best time I've ever experienced. That's probably the worst I've ever experienced for this watch, and I've had this watch since I was 18, because my good old dad gave it to me when I was 18, and I've always worn it since, except for when I was wearing that sports watch for a while. But I got tired, well, not so much tired of the sports watch, but it got tired of me and kind of fell apart on me. But it already told me the things that I needed to know, so I don't need to be walking around with a sports watch on anymore. So this watch is obviously 46. I got it when I was 16. I've worn it apart from one year of wearing the other watch. I've worn it just about all that time, so it deserves to be forgiven for getting me into a situation today. But it wasn't that bad in the end, because at the end I made it with seconds to spare, and I just have to tell you about my secretary. She'd already gone home. There was me not being sure what tram to get on, and she kind of appeared from nowhere outside after I thought she'd gone home. She was obviously kind of looking after me when I didn't even know about it. And she kind of appeared like from nowhere, from behind a lamppost, and said, "Oh, you better get on that one, but only take 1 stop here, I'll come with you." And then she went all the way to the station, to the bus station with me, and she took one of my briefcase and helped me to hurry along faster. And I think without that I probably wouldn't have got on the bus, and that was really above the call of duty, so that was really good. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Look at the size of that lovely teapot. Gold, you name it. This is really good. So now I don't even know what time it is. That's the problem. Although I do know, of course, because of the wonder of the modern mobile phone. That'll tell me. $23.20. So I don't think I'm going to go for a walk. I'll just go upstairs and go to sleep, I think. I've got a nice early one in the morning, so that'll be okay. But I've kind of gone, when I go upstairs I'll film the room, because they've given me a much better room than last time. Sometimes it's actually worth saying a few things if things don't go too well the first time and you're not very happy. It's worth saying things, although I only said it after he had written his standard email saying, was everything okay? And I wrote back saying, well, everything was okay except for A, B, C and D, which I thought weren't all that fantastic. Other than that, it was, marvellous. And he said, well, I'll sort out A, B, C and D then, and promptly did. So there we are. But it is actually a very nice hotel, so if you come to Bratislava, you'll find that there's a lot of very nice hotels. Things aren't all that cheap here, but some things are actually very nice here. And it's my first visit I didn't like it, but it's starting to grow on me quite a lot, Slovakia. So I shall have my black tea. Oh, the bag didn't go in the pot, I better do that. So as you see, they gave me Twinings Darjeeling. Darjeeling's okay. Twinings is a good name as well. There's not much water in the pot.
So is there something small digestive?
No, I'm fine, thanks. I really shouldn't drink any more alcohol. Thank you very much. He rolled his alcohol bottles along in vain for me because I don't drink much, you see. He managed to get a complimentary glass of white local wine down me and a plum brandy, but I think that's 2 units and that's more than I'd normally drink. Well, I don't normally drink anything, so there we are. I can drink it, but I don't have to drink it, and I sometimes prefer not to. But yeah, this evening I kind of thought it would take the edge off the way that I'm feeling it after that bus, so I think it has actually. So I've got brown sugar. Now that's interesting. You see, brown sugar here. This is lovely. I love the way they get the languages done. You see, brown, yeah, in English is the second way down. Yeah, so you would think that brown, spelled the German way, would go with the word Zucker, which is German for sugar, but they've actually put the English word for sugar next to the German word for brown. So it's very difficult to get pure German these days because the English is kind of trampled up and down all over it in the international arena. But here at the end is hnedý cukor, which I take it is Slovak, although it's not far off. I think cukor without an O would be the, and hnedý, I think the yeah has a sign over it in Czech, but other than that it's perfectly understandable from Czech brown sugar. I'm not an expert on these things yet. I'm working on it. So, got some time to... There's not much water, as I was going to say, in that pot. But, I suppose you don't need all that much. It's a very big pot. There'll be enough probably for at least 1 cup. And it is obviously a preheated pot, so that's a good thing. Because otherwise that much water wouldn't be enough to heat up all that pot without ruining the yeah, and there's a 2nd cup's worth in there as well. I think I'll take the bag out. I won't film myself doing that, but basically there was 2 cups in there. He's given me milk in case I need it, but I don't think 1 bag is going to... Yeah, you shouldn't put milk in tea that isn't really strong, and that's not going to get really strong in that, but it's pretty good. Right, so just have a look at this tremendous room. We've got the welcome drinks and cakes and the flowers and what have you. Have a look at that lovely clock. 10 to 12 already, unfortunately. There's the beautiful burgundy. There's a lovely, I think it's oak table. Interesting modern art. Seems to be parsnips in various guises. There's a Schefflera tree with a lovely credence over there in the corner. Another nice reproduction style with a beautiful cut glass vase there. Another nice classical style writing desk. Beautiful thing here with all the different cups and things in it. There's a TV there, so you can certainly enjoy yourself here. There's the bedroom with a writing desk there as well, a dresser. I've got my case there. You've got yourself a music centre if you want one, phones, you name it, with the same kind of posh furniture. Wardrobe, and you've got double sinks so you can wash your face at the same time as your wife if you're coming with your wife. I'm afraid I haven't. I wish she was here, but that's not so easy. and a nice big bath with a jacuzzi and a shower if you want to have a shower instead. So there you go. And the inevitable, dear guests, we protect the environment, and this is what you have to do with your towels. So there we are. I think it's excellent. So there we go. Okay, here's the lovely room in the morning. I won't show you back again there, the unmade bed and everything in the bedroom, but just to show you some delights. Here is something they also offered me to go to the end of the monsoon season in Bratislava. They were going to open finally the summer terrace to celebrate the end of the monsoon season, which is a bit funny because I was saying myself, and I thought I was the first person or only person to have really observed it, that we now have monsoon in Europe with all these floods going on, this rain, downpour of rain, sort of just 2 months rain in 2 days and things like that we've had in Slovakia and Czech and Poland have just had something very similar to an Asiatic monsoon actually, so it's not a joke, but I suppose it's light-hearted calling it a monsoon season, but it's the first time we've had it for 160 years that bad, so hopefully it doesn't come back every year now. There's the iconic bridge with the cafe on the top that looks like a UFO, and I've got the view from the room over the Danube, which is much coveted in Bratislava. Not that many rooms have such a good Danube view as this one, and you can see that it's not I don't know whether it's high or not. I suppose it is high because it's going right up to where the grass is. I suppose it's fairly high, but it's certainly moving fast, isn't it? It's really pushing. So not as sluggish as it was last time I was here, that's for sure. I have to go back and have a look at the film I took of it then and just compare the flow rate now to the flow rate then. I think it's definitely rather, showing that it's got more pressure on it, as it were, right now. Okay. Thank you very much. Right, shortly after 6 o'clock of an evening on this very hot afternoon, I've got to be careful where I point the camera because the sun is so bright. I can almost not lift my eyes. Yeah, okay. I can almost not lift my eyes to look at the red man turning into a green man. I have to rely on this clicking noise, but I suppose I can put it up there. I suppose we need to have it on broad rather than on narrow, see more that way. Now you can hear the clicking speeds up, and that tells you if the clicking's next to your head that the road crossing that you're at is about to and here, just like in the Czech Republic, you get it turning to red pretty soon after it's been green. So you've got to get your act together a bit. Now we've been up this one before. This is Náměstí Slov Narod Povstania. And the time we went up before, it was quite dark and cold, so you didn't really see that much of it, whereas now you've got a lot of more life going on here. It's as hot as you like though, I can tell you, it's as hot as I can take it. I wouldn't want it any hotter, even though it's evening time already. So there you are. I don't want to go back to the hotel in too much of a roundabout way because I've got quite a heavy load in that there bag. But just to show a little bit up here, and then I think I'll go down that way. That's next to the Institute Polski, isn't it, that I filmed before and said that they needed to keep longer hours, and presumably they're already shut as well tonight, even though everything else going on around is open. Anyway, I said that my watch had stopped the other day, and it was not in fact true. I just went into Tesco's of all places, the same as the English Tesco's, except for here in Bratislava, and the guy took a look at my watch and said, "Oh, you pulled the date changing thing out by accident." So that had got itself pulled out and had stopped the watch from moving. So that was the first thing that had happened. And then he took the battery out and checked it, and he said, "Oh, this battery's still good for a year and a half." And I said, "Well, you know, okay, so it's mainly gone because I think I put it in 3 years ago. Maybe we should change it now." And he said, "Oh no, don't change it now. You'll waste all the lithium, and it'll just go for pollution. Don't waste it." And I said, "Well, okay then. If you say no, then I'll follow your advice." So there we are. There's the Polish Institute, and it's only open until 5 o'clock. There you go. Isn't that a disgrace? And everything else around here is still really full of life. Then Poland isn't showing up as bothering to want to, it's supposed to be a cultural institute. It should be open in the evenings. It should be doing things. I don't know why we bother putting taxpayers' money into things like this if they're not going to be actually anything interesting. And there you go, Institute Polska, and yet, what do they show? Haiku. Well, there's nothing wrong with haiku, but what has it got to do with Poland? What have those haiku got to do with Poland? And come to think of it, actually, what's this got to do? Well, maybe no, it has, because it's Czeshin, isn't it? Czeshinskie nebo, the sky over Cheshire, which is the border town. So let's say that has got something to do with Poland. And then David Devin and Yaroslav Kisha wax tears ceremony. Don't see any Polish aspects there, and I don't see any Polish aspects here, even though there is the Polish Institute in Bratislava has sponsored it. I can't see a single Polish production actually being involved, so I just don't know what the Polish Institute is doing here. Why they're not actually showing off Polish culture. Well, there we go. That's Chopin, or Kuobiu, as it is above the line. So there we are. I can understand the Polish Institute of Bratislava wanting to get behind Chopin because Poles lay claim to Chopin. But beyond that, there's another one where media sponsorship has also been given by the Polish Institute, and yet doesn't seem to have a great deal. I can see Still Life by Leo Tolstoy. I can see Ženitba by Gogolia, or Ženba in Slovak, presumably. It's very interesting. I've actually acted in that in the past when I was at university. A very interesting play, Ženitba, good comedy. I can see Chekhov. I can see various other people, but I cannot see in all of that anything actually done by anybody from Poland. So you see, even Andy Wahyudin Au Unru from the Institute of Arts of Jakarta, Indonesia, having produced something in Welsh for us. Nothing to do with the Polish nation. Oh yeah, this has got something Polish because I can see Polish names on that one. Uncanny. Bears an uncanny resemblance to a lot of people. There's another uncanny over there. And there's some kind of a library in there. Maybe some of the books in there are in Polish. I don't know. Yeah, look as though they are. Yes, I can see a large number of Zs. Yeah, there's Wyspiański. Oh, there's Sławomir Mrożek Baltazar. So okay, I'll give them something. I'll give them like 3 marks out of 10 for their effort. But I would want much better than that from my adopted country. I'd like to see their tax zloty spent, or my tax zloty, because I pay the tax as well in Poland. All my tax is paid in Poland. I'd like to see my tax zloty paid on actually supporting Polish culture, you know, in the neighbouring countries. And having put that there, to actually have it going for slightly longer hours, at least to 7 o'clock in the evening, and at least in the summer where this is actually really alive. I think it just looks silly that it's not done that way. So another more of the interesting architecture, the mixture of old walls with new buildings. That looks as though it's got quite a bit of history in it, that wall. By the time I've carved up the films I did in Bratislava last time, there could be quite a lot of material here from Bratislava, and people either already started to like it and want to come here for a visit, or they're saying, oh okay, we're tired of Bratislava now, why do you keep on focusing on it and on Bratislava for that matter. But you know, this is where I am. I always photograph where I am, you know, and so if I'm here, then this is where I'm going to make films of. I can't, you know, afford either the time or the money to go and specially to places to film, so I film where I have to be anyway for work. That having been said, what is wrong with this? This is very nice. Where are you going to go nicer than this to film? It's perfectly nice atmosphere, perfectly interesting things that you can look at close up, like this strange yellow fungus growing under the window, yet to be described to science. Maybe I'll get to name it myself if I describe that piece of fungus I just saw to science. Maybe I'll name it for Dawkins, that great scientist, for all of the mushrooms he tells us. Primachalne namnisti. It's nice, isn't it? That seems familiar. I think I've seen that square from the other side. Ja. Oh, Entschuldigung. Okay. مرحبا. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That wasn't the real choir, that was the bloke. Oh, it's here. Nice little interlude there. Oh, here we go. I wonder what my chances are of crashing the party. Dobrý. Hezká muzika. Hezká muzika. To je tady? Chor? A, děkuju. Chor Salvatore is what it's called, practicing there. They had a gate man on there. Anyway, you can hear it better out here. So that's Chor Salvatore practicing. And the place it's being heard from is that open window actually. I can finally conclude, having walked around and tilted my head at various angles. That's the Lambada. Right. Well, I couldn't resist having a film of that, could I? Gonna get my head kicked in one day.
Vidíme sa Bordo a dneska... Áno, teraz nám ponúkajú tomu zájazdu Bordo, ne? Priemer 2.1.05, ani za trojka na vysvedčení, ja som skončil.
I think we've been here before, haven't we? With the old squares up there. That'd be an interesting pattern actually for playing Halma. Let's have a look at the good old crafts. That's quite nicely done, isn't it? The colours on that. They've got handmade tin soldiers. Lots of different symbols. Strange things like ladybirds, done almost like scarabs. Not exactly, I don't think I'd wear a cross like that. I don't think it's very nice, very honouring, but maybe it works for some people, I don't know, but never mind. These are the handmade tin soldiers, I suppose. Giraffes. And the castle of Bratislava made from plastic, and some nice stripy snails like the ones that got up my wall trying to invade the garden. Lots of different Slovakia and Bratislava badges. And here we have Suro. And how they come to that, I'm not quite sure, but that's presumably how they get around Va in katakana. They have a wow with an extra two dots on it. I didn't know they had that in katakana. Va with an extra R behind it. Is that correct? And then Kia. They wouldn't just use the dash. Anyway, what do I know? Japanese know best how to say Slovakia in their own language, but if I'd been asked to guess it, I wouldn't have guessed spelling it that way. And there's another handmade tin soldier over there, standing on sentry duty. I don't know whether I'd go into a lot of detail. I don't know how interested you'd be in looking at much of this tat, because of course that's what it is. I don't think I'd give much to buy some of this stuff. Seriously. I usually do get a fridge magnet from different places, though. Maybe I should get a fridge magnet. Those of you who like elephants, that's an elephant fridge magnet. There's a Prague castle one for €4, nicely delicately painted up. But seriously, I just can't bring myself to take €4 out of my pocket for that. Maybe later. I really feel like taking a dip in this. Looks really good. Pity you can't just get in there. Somebody's left their book behind, Rozhovory bez hranic, with a Przedslov, or by Jerzy Buzek, who's been mentioned before on this channel. Don't know what somebody's doing, just leaving their book behind. Maybe they didn't like what Jerzy Buzek had to say and decided not to read the rest of it. If you want to see an amusing image of Jerzy Buzek, what you need to do is look up the Nigel Farage barrage against the Engelbert Humperdinck, or whatever his name is, no, Herman Van Rompuy, the new President of Europe. Because if you watch Nigel Farage's famous, basically stand up and have a good old crack, which he did, at Herman Van Rompuy, he did us all proud in the UK with his nice hefty crack at the President of Europe. So basically, if you saw that, then you'll have seen Jerzy Buzek getting all aerated at how Van Rompuy was being attacked by this guy, wondering whether to do something to the microphones, to cut the microphones. His hand was like going out and then coming back again and then going out again. And he looked like he was completely out of his depth, the poor guy. But we all love Jerzy Buzek, don't we? That was the place where I recently went for that Chinese meal, didn't I? It was quite nice in there. Golly, is it already 23? I better stop, hadn't I? Otherwise this will never go up in one go. I'm about at my limit now for HD, and it'd be nice to keep it in HD because the light was so good. Oh, here we go. Somebody making a nice political speech for one of the parties. We're about to have an election. This is the SDKU.
Som nesmierne šťastný, že celých 8 týždňov nás prevádzajú krásni ľudia, umelci. Peter Cmolik a jeho band. Ale aj ďalší skvelí muzikanti.
Skvelí.
Ale muzikanti. Veľmi krásni ľudia. Pevní demokrati. A som hrdý na to, že sú s nami od prvého dňa vzniku našej politickej strany. Dámy a páni, vítam medzi nami skvelého speváka, muzikanta a jeho skupinu Mikohladky a skupina Gladiátor.
Oh, Gladiator. Hey, everybody wants this. Fantastic.
Krásny deň v Bratislave. Ďakujem pánovi Zurindovi za skvelé uvítanie. My sme kapela Gladiátor a veľmi radi podporíme SDK vo voľbách.
Everything's squelly today.
Na chvíľu som bol v tom, že pokoj ti dám. Keď zvesím fotky na stenách, bude mi fajn. No zase v tom lietam, bez tepla neviem kam. Všetkého sa zriekam. Tak už príď, neviem ťa nájsť, bez teba strácaný, mám zlomený hlas, neviem ťa nájsť, neviem ťa nájsť, bez teba hlas. Mám zlomený hlas, neviem ťa nájsť. Na chvíľu som bol v tom, že zvládnem to sám, že spomienky na teba zmaže jeden flám. No zase v tom lietam, bez teba neviem kam. Smutok topí v piesňach, tak už príď, neviem ťa nájsť, bez teba strácaný, bez teba strácam dech. Mám zlomený hlas, neviem ťa nájsť. Bratislava, neviem ťa nájsť. Bez teba pláčim kríž, mám zlomený hlas, neviem ťa nájsť. Mám zlomený hlas, neviem ťa nájsť. Ďakujem. Ďakujem pekne.
Very nice.
Bol som o krok bližšie k láske, dnes už o nej len píšem básne hore v podkroví. Tam, kde houby si ju vyznávajú, skúšal som ju všade vypátrať, či nemôžem ju vyhrať v kartách a či náhodou nie je vo víne tak ako pravda.
Bratislava. Countdown to the Slovakia's hosting of the World Ice Hockey Championships in 2011. Only 321 days away.
bezpieczne, uliczka czerwone, wyłowie
So if you want atmosphere,
kraju.
you can do worse than Bratislava actually. Very nice. To hold this away from the American embassy because I don't want to photograph them because they'll say, you're compromising our security, and since that's not my intention, I shan't look as though it is.